Starting off with Imhotep. Do you ever wonder where on earth the ancient Egyptians got the idea of building tombs so massive that they seem to reach the skies? Well, Imhotep is to thank for the idea, whose name means he who comes in peace, is a literal all-around genius. With an estimated IQ of 175, he served as an architect, engineer, physician, and philosopher. This was in 2650 BCE under King Djoser's reign. His rise to power is not derived from a noble background or any ties to royalty. He was a commoner who only had natural talents backing him up. He contributed so much to Egypt all throughout history by creating what is believed to be the first pyramid. He did it by stacking 6 of the traditional mastabas, each smaller than the last. It resulted in the rise of the step pyramid, which is 204 feet, which is 62 meters high. He also left a name for himself in the realm of medicine. As a matter of fact, he was so well known for it that the ancient Egyptians deified him as the god of wisdom and medicine. He also is credited for writing the Edwin Smith Papyrus, which is the oldest surgical text in the history of civilization. Mae Jemison, another intellect who certainly did reach for the stars. Born on October 17, 1956, in Decatur, Alabama, she grew up fascinated by science and all its possibilities. Watching the Apollo airings as a little girl, it became apparent to her that there were no female astronauts. As a young student, being the only black student in her class, she experienced racial discrimination. But this did not deter her, and only pushed her to persevere more. She then joined NASA in 1987, and was among the 15 people out of 2,000 applicants to be selected. She became part of the team sent on the Space Shuttle Endeavour on September 12, 1992 as a mission specialist. And that's how she became the first African-American woman in space. Benjamin Banneker. In a time where freedom is for the selected few, there are those who did not turn a blind eye despite being in a comfortable position. Benjamin Banneker made sure to use his extensive intellect not just for knowledge's sake, but to combat slavery. Born on November 9, 1731, he was the son of the former slaves Robert and Mary Banneker. Unlike most colored people of his time, he was born free. With his 160 IQ, he went on constructing irrigation systems for his farm and made a wooden clock that ran accurately for 50 years. He is most notable, however, for writing almanacs complete with his astronomical predictions and tidal information. He was also open about how opposed he is to slavery and advocated for civil rights extensively. He even wrote to the then Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson to see reason and aid in bringing about better treatment for African Americans. He also pointed out the hypocrisy of their demanding freedom from the British while enslaving people like him that led to Mr. Jefferson's eyes to be opened. Terence Tao. With a mind-boggling IQ of 230, Terence Tao is indeed a force to be reckoned with when it comes to facing headache-inducing numbers. He is an Australian-American mathematician of African-American descent. He was raised in a family of mathematicians. As a child of Chinese immigrants and from African descent, he faced cultural and language barriers, but his exceptional talent quickly shone through. At just 2 years old, he taught himself to read, and by 10 he was participating in international math competitions, achieving great success. He got his PhD at the age of 21 and joined the University of California as a faculty. At the age of 24, he became a full-time professor at UCLA, and the youngest ever to be appointed to that rank at UCLA. Ta-Nehisi Coates. As a young journalist, he worked at the Washington City paper, Village Voice, and Times before getting a job at the Atlantic. He also mentioned that he was at one point about to follow the path of hip-hop until he realized that writing lyrics is not where his talents lie. He published multiple influential books, the known best one being Between the World and Me. Written as a letter to the author's teenage son, Samurai, the book delves into the African-American experience in the United States, focusing on the intersections of race, history, and personal experience. Coates explores the concept of race as a social construct, discussing how this construct has shaped the lives of Black people in America and perpetuated systemic racism. He reflects on his own upbringing in Baltimore, where he witnessed firsthand the effects of racial inequality and violence, as well as the challenges he faced in navigating these environments. Now, to all those Black Panther fans out there, Coates is in fact one of the current co-authors of the comic series. He relaunched the comic series, and the debut issue was one of the best-selling comics in 2016. Chimamanda Adichie. People described her as multi-talented, which is an understatement. Chimamanda Adichie, born in 1977 in Enugu, Nigeria, with an IQ of 137, studied medicine and pharmacy at the University of Nigeria. She then moved to the U.S. to study communications and political science at Eastern Connecticut State University. She also got her M.A. in creative writing from Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore. Her creative mind produced various works of art, such as the play For Love of Biafra, 1998, and prize-winning short stories. Her novels, Purple Hibiscus and Half of a Yellow Sun, became great successes, so much so that they won the 2005 Commonwealth Writers' Prize and the 2007 Orange Broadband Prize for Fiction. Neil deGrasse Tyson. How can we forget our resident astronomer, Neil deGrasse Tyson? With an IQ of 123, Tyson is an astrophysicist, author, and science communicator that is an important figure when it comes to providing a public understanding of science. At a young age, Tyson became aware of his love for stars, which only intensified when he visited the Hayden Planetarium when he was 9 years old. After gaining a bachelor's degree in physics from Harvard University and a doctorate in astrophysics from Columbia University in 1991, he spent a few years at Princeton University for some postdoctorate work, and like a twist in fate, he landed a job in the Hayden Planetarium, the very same one he visited as a boy, even becoming its director. He also served as a presidential advisor to President George Bush on the future of the aerospace industry, as well as spending 3 years examining U.S. policy on space exploration. Tyson is also known for classifying Pluto as a dwarf planet. Charles R. Drew, the known father of blood bank, was not first recognized as an academic. He was first noted as an excellent in football and track and field. He was awarded a scholarship by Amherst College in Massachusetts in 1922 for his talents. Being one of the 3 African Americans among 600 students, he was exposed to the ongoing racial climate of his time. He was not even made captain in his senior year, despite being the best athlete of the team. Thanks to his biology professor, he became interested in the wonders of medicine. Still, just like any other field during his time, medicine is largely segregated based on skin color. This did not stop Drew, though, for he persevered in his studies in McGill University College of Medicine in Montreal. He went on winning the annual scholarship prize in neuroanatomy and becoming a staff member in the McGill Medical Journal. He assessed previous blood and transfusion research, blood chemistry, and fluid replacement, and evaluated variables affecting shelf life of stored blood. He then went on to organize America's first large-scale blood bank and trained a generation of black physicians at Howard University. Wole Soyinka. As a child in western Nigeria, it would make you surrounded by all matters of ties. Raised in a devout Anglican family, he also enjoyed close relations with his extended family. He also became acquainted with the indigenous spiritual traditions of the Yoruba people. Due to his father being the headmaster of the parsonage primary school, he had access to a wide range of books from English literature to Greek tragedies. As a result of his 158 IQ, he showed so much promise in his studies, particularly in theatrical arts. After graduating at the age of 16 from the government college, he started writing plays for local radio. He then won a scholarship to the University of Leeds in England and left Africa for the first time. He wrote plays inspired by his Yoruba heritage, such as The Swamp Dwellers and The Lion and the Jewel. When he returned to Nigeria, he studied African drama and at the same time taught drama and literature at various universities in Ibadan, Lagos, and Ife. For his extensive works throughout the years as a playwright, poet, and essayist, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986. If you did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe for more.